Hello and welcome to the Herald Gaming channel. Today, thanks to the kindness and generosity of my Patreons, I am breaking down the latest Guild Wars 2 teaser trailer for Whispers in the Dark. This will be the first installment of the much anticipated Icebrood saga, which arrives on the 19th of November. So this time next week we should all be in-game listening to those dark whispers ourselves. But before I dive into all that, I want to put a potential spoiler warning here, because although it's vanishingly unlikely, my observations / speculations might be revealing, perhaps even prophetic. So you have been duly warned to proceed with caution. That said, let's break down the new map location reveal, plus some of its history, and have a look at the new features confirmed in Whispers in the Dark, as well as donning our lovely tinfoil hats for some dark and dangerous and nerdy speculation. Tyrians rejoice, for we now know the first new map of Icebrood Saga, Jora's Marshes, found in the northeastern corner of the far Shiver Peaks. In the Eye of the North campaign, at least, this map was directly connected to the Char homelands, which, in our modern iteration of the gaming universe, is Grothmar Valley. So a quick hop, skip and a jump onto that shaman's historical map of Tyria. Many thanks to you, good sir, for all your years of service to Guild Wars 2. We love you for it. And we see that Jora's Marshes connects at the Bound by Blood Strike mission entryway on Grothmar. Or at least it has the potential to, if the devs keep to the old map layout fairly closely, which they seem to have been doing quite often. Now, having a look at the map, we can see that Jora's homestead is marked on this old version, and the very first sentence of our teaser trailer says,
"Commander, I need your help here, at Jora's Keep."
And now I'm a happy teddy bear. Now, if you are new to the older lore of Guild Wars, specifically the Eye of the North, then Jora may be relatively unknown to you. So here is the TLDR version of her epic legendary tale. If you've heard it before, or you're just not interested in hearing me yatter on about Jora for about 5 minutes, there are timestamps below so you can skip to the end. For anybody who is still here, once upon a time, Jora and her brother Svanir were seeking adventure in the Shiver Peaks to earn their place in the legends of their people. Now, the life of a Norn can be short and brutal, but for Jora and her brother Svanir, the story of their life would become a saga of temptation, tragedy, and loss. Whilst hunting in the mountains at the Drakar Lake, the two came upon a dark presence. A being of great power stirred, and sensing the two young Norn, it reached out to them, offering them great and terrible power. Both struggled against the unseen creature's will, but it would be Svanir who buckled to temptation and gave himself over to the darkness beneath the ice. Jora refused to submit and watched in horror as Svanir was twisted into a thing of nightmares. Jora fled for her life, but even she had been tainted by the corruption of the beast of Drakar, for she had been robbed of her ability to shapeshift into the bear. This was her punishment from the great bear spirit for but a moment of temptation. Svanir was the first Norn to submit to the power of Jormag, but sadly he would not be the last. Driven mad by the dragon's gift, Svanir terrorized the far Shiver Peaks and its denizens for years. To redeem herself to the great bear spirit, Jora dedicated her life to the hunt of Svanir, even seeking the aid of allies from the south. Her reckless and relentless hunt became the stuff of legend, she would eventually earn her redemption and end her brother's suffering. There are statues of her scattered about Holbrook, where her name is revered by the wise and hated by the sons of Svanir, the malignant legacy of her ill-fated brother. As a player in Eye of the North, you fight shoulder to shoulder with Jora during her hunt for Svanir, so you can understand why veterans of the franchise like me are so hyped to visit Jora's Keep. Now, sadly for poor old Jora, her keep has not seemed to fare too well. The gates of her once home now stand open, not a soul to be seen within. We have a shot of a raven statue nestled over the keep's gate. There are other ravens off to the right, high on the mountainside. This location, I think, is Jora's Keep still, which seems to be under the protection of the raven spirit. As we walk around the place, we see abandoned streets, and then Bram makes a grisly discovery. If you pause here for a second, you can look out the door past Bram and the mysterious other Norn speculation about her at the end, and you see the same braziers, the same ones from the street, the same ones from the ending of the trailer with the raven glowing above the gate. This is clearly one location shot from many angles. Why Jora's Keep is under the protection of Raven and not Bear is a mystery to me. Jora's life was bound to the bear spirit, so what has transpired in the following decades to change that? Let's hope the narrative team reveal that by the end of the saga. Now, back to Bram and the unmoving people he finds. They are most likely dead, but perhaps they're suffering under some spell or condition. He does say in the teaser, we have to make this right. Now, there is very little you can do for the dead other than the kindness of a burial. So maybe they're dead, maybe they're not. We'll have to see. Also, the bodies / people seem placed oddly here, spaced oddly. Why are they grouped together in an empty stone room? Were they placed here? Whatever has befallen Jora's Keep, let's just say it doesn't seem good. Also, the keep doesn't look to have been sacked, although it does appear to be run down. The people don't look to have been slaughtered. I don't see swords or arrows peppering the fallen. The question which lingers in the air is, what on earth happened here? And my question also is, why were we called here? Happily, in the trailer, we hear the voice of Jury, Marjorie Delacroix, the primus investigator in Crater, and our guildmate. So hopefully, together with her, we can sleuth all this out. Or perhaps we don't need to do that much sleuthing. Could we meet up with a survivor of Jora's Keep? Maybe we don't even have to do that, because a little later we see a shrine to Raven, which is surrounded by Norn spirits. Now, whether this shrine is located in Jora's Keep or not is unclear. The architecture does have a different feel, but there's a lot of Raven statues in Jora's Keep, it would seem. But I digress. For the question here is, are these souls the fallen Norn from Jora's Keep? And we're going to have to wait for time to tell. But on a side note here, I'm hoping for a little bit of fan service, perhaps a chance to interact with the spirit of Jora herself. Now, it would not be the first time a hero companion has returned to us in ghost form. I will give a lovely shiny internet cookie to anyone in the comments who can name the ghost in the sulphurous waste that I'm talking about. But back on topic, maybe that would be just too easy, having the ghosts of Jora's Keep just, giving us the lowdown on what's happened. And I think something darker is afoot here, something far more ominous in tone for this teaser, perhaps even hints that these deaths were not at the hands of the enemy without, but the enemy within. Now, in Lovecraftian horror, it is not unheard of for the protagonist to be the unwitting villain in their own story. So has the voice heard at the end of the teaser? Likely Jarmag may be a corrupted spirit of the wild, perhaps Owl, even Drakkar itself, driven the people of Jora's Keep to turn on one another, or the six forbid self-harm. But it also begs the question, who can hear that dark, terrible little voice? Do we, the commander, hear that voice? Or is it just Bram? And what of his mysterious companion? Guys, I have a bad feeling about this. Buckle up. It could be a very dark and rough ride indeed. Now, Jora was not the only Norn to make their home in Jora's marshes. Volsungs' Stead too was located here back in the day. Now, if you are a fan of drinking games, and I'm not talking about Shadow Abyss drinking games, then the Great Norn Alemoot was an obstacle course exclusively reserved for the profoundly inebriated Norn, or whoever could hold enough ale. So if the Alemoot does see a comeback in Icebrewed, I for one shall be very, very happy, but with the darker tone of the saga, I would not be putting my money on that. But, I mean, that said, Evil Dead did spawn out of the Lovecraftian depths of darkness. Side note, if you have no clue what Lovecraftian horror is, links in the top right hand corner of your screen to my deep dive into the man, the horror and its influence on, well, humanity. I kid you not, it's crazy. Okay, back to the hopeful Alemoot, or not, because this shot could put an end to that short-lived hope of drunken shenanigans, because this homestead looks to have fallen to the dragon in a rather big way, and although it's possible this is just another stead, another keep belonging to another Norn and his clan, I have another bad feeling about this, guys, sorry. No ale for us. Boo-hoo. Now, Darkrime Dells was also found on Jora's marshes here, and it was once the home of Jotun and Stone Summit dwarves, the pair of whom were at war when we last saw them. Now, Darkrime was an 8-man dungeon back in Eye of the North with 3 difficulty modes. Today, if it still exists, it could well be just an explorable location in the open world with hopefully some juicy lore tidbits, or perhaps it's returned as a dungeon/strike mission instance. We know we are getting a rotation for strikes, so it would not be out of the question for this to be a locale. There are a few scenes here that could well be Darkrime Dells, but again, time will tell. Now, the last location of note on the old version of Jora's Marshes was the Shrine of the Bear Spirit, up in the north of the map. In the trailer, we see a Raven's Shrine, complete with wolf spirits, as well as Norn. That could be significant, but as to visiting or interacting with the Bear Spirit, we might be waiting a little while longer for that. Perhaps we must work our way through the masteries to unlock the shrines. Maybe the bear shrine was destroyed. Maybe it's right there where we left it. It's too early to tell. I don't have enough information. Let me know your speculation in the comments below. Now, speaking of spirits, we've all known for quite some time that Raven will be the first spirit of the wild we encounter in Saga, and this teaser confirms that our attunement to the spirit will be a mastery path. Now, if you're interested in a deep dive into the lore of the spirits of the wild, there are links in the top right hand corner of your screen now to my video covering all the spirits with a focus on and speculation around Raven, Bear, Wolf and Snow Leopard, specifically their possible gifted mastery abilities. I can't go into it here, I've already been talking for a week. Onto Essence Manipulation Mastery. What this manipulation could be is open to interpretation. We see flashes of green, possibly life energy, white lightning type stuff, which is possibly air energy, and red elemental magic we're manipulating, but that would seem to intrude on the elementalist realm of being. It could be God/dragon essence that we've learned to harness somehow. Life, air, fire. Honestly, it's hard to tell from the few short clips that we've seen. Let me know in the comments if you have any better ideas. I'm pretty sure you must. The addition of upgradable weapons could be fairly straightforward, like the armors, but I wonder how far they're going to take it. Will the final iteration of the weapon be ascended or legendary? Will the weapon's appearance evolve as its power increases? Will there be more than one way to upgrade the weapon? And if so, will that affect the appearance of it in the end? I'm thinking player versus player, world versus PvE paths to upgrade. Will there be a distinct difference between the two? Again, I've got very little to work with here, very little to speculate around. I mean, I can say that that's a very nice big sword. Honestly, I just have lots of questions that I'm going to have to wait until next week to get answered. Okay, so more strikes and rotational strikes. Now, I applaud any easily accessible group content that encourages both new and experienced players to jump in for some fun group content. The fact we have 3 brand spanking new strike missions in the very first episode of Icebrood Saga is awesome, and hopefully foreshadowing all that tremendous new content to follow, fingers crossed. Now, of course, some may lament the rotational nature of the strikes, but I think it will keep content fresher longer and bring more storytelling opportunities as these story moments are released. But have we seen who we're facing in the strikes? Well, I think we might have. So this horny, bony boy is Drakar, the Svanir corrupting dragon champion of Jormag himself. I'm going to go itself. Now, how do I know this? Well, I know it from some released ArenaNet art. Oh, a fair old while back. So it's not really a spoiler because it's out there in the world. So Drakar has a dark, almost Wiccan, evil Wiccan feel. And I'm honestly looking forward to see how they're fitting this bad boy into the storyline. These oversized Codons look to be the next contenders in our strike mission lineup, but what type of corruption are we looking at? Because this is not the frozen hues of Jormag. Could this be the handiwork of Bubbles, the deep sea dragon, master of creepy shadows, perhaps? Could this be the corruption of a fallen spirit of the wild, like Owl? That reddish hue is new to me, to say the least. Let me know if you know what it is, if you've seen it before, in the comments below. I'd be very interested. The final newish strike boss is the Ice Brood construct. At least, well, some of him. Our favourite loot Pinata looks a little worse for wear here, but fear not, he seems to have found a brand new friend to help lift his spirits this holiday season, proving once and for all, friendship really is magic. Maybe a meta. Now there could also be some open world map meta shown here. Exhibit Ice Giant in Chains. Now, what type of content this turns out to be is anyone's guess, but whatever happens, this chap's ankles are in for it in a serious way. Now, of course, this could be part of the Construct Strike mission. Time will tell, but oh my goodness, it's been a feast or famine, a real tick-tock for map metas between Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, and I just hope the devs find that sweet spot to keep the new maps populated after the player base has devoured the main storyline. Good luck, fellas. I believe in you. You can do it. Okay, so who's that Norn? There are 2 options here. One is that it's a new character called Anya, last seen at Dragon Bash, well, vigorously bashing a dragon, or it's ours, which I think it is, or at least our surrogate for the trailers, last seen in Bound by Blood's trailer here, being called Commander by a very drunk Bram. Now, you can thank Daydreaming D for this revelation, because I, idiot that I am, spent a good hour looking for a Norn named Mender. Yep, I did that. I kid you not. So, that's my Whispers in the Dark teaser trailer breakdown. Let me know in the comments if you are hyped for some creepy whispers of your own, or if your enthusiasm for it all has been sucked into the darkness of the Shiver Peaks. And whilst you're down there typing away, please do like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so I don't get lost to the voices in my own head still looking for Mender. And please do show some love to Cody, Kildare, Carl Nelson, Jason, Venter, Cub, Jolly Joestar, Molini, Dark Griever, and all my wondrous, fantabulous Patreons, without whom I would be unable to dedicate the time and resources I do to my content creation. I can never thank you all enough, and if you'd like to join them for early access content and chattering with me for what that's worth, there are links below. Now, if all these dark whispers and monstrous foes have piqued your interest in Guild Wars 2, there are referral links below to the free-to-play game and the Path of Fire expansion, which now includes all the yummy content from the Heart of Thorns expansion 2, thanks to the generosity of ArenaNet and their partner program, of whom I am a proud affiliate. Using any of these referral links directly supports my channel, but costs you, dear viewer, not a penny more. Now I hope you will join me again very soon for more Guild Wars 2 goodness as we delve into the Ice Brood saga. Brave souls, but until then, as always, thank you so much for watching.